Emergency breaking news. Claude Opus 4.5 just released literally 15 seconds ago. We are going to test it live. You're going to find out, is it the king? Did it already dethrone Gemini 3? Did it already dethrone? That's how excited I am. ChatGPT 5.1 Pro. We are about to find out. This is the most important video you'll watch today. I'm going to pull open Claude Opus 4.5 right now. You literally can't make this up. Literally 15 seconds before this video started recording, it dropped. So I'm going to go to Claude.ai. I'm going to pull this up right now, and we're going to immediately get straight into our testing. We're going to test other AIs today as well. Claude Code with Claude Opus 4.5. We're going to test anti-gravity. We're going to test it all. Let's go straight into it. We're going to go to Claude.ai. I'm going to hit enter. Meet Opus 4.5, built for professional work. Longer and harder autonomous coding tasks with fewer check-ins. I need to take notes as we do this, by the way. I need to write down notes so I can remember what we're running into and what is working well here. Let me pull up a notepad as we do this so I can write down for my own notes, so I can maximize this myself. You should be doing the same thing. You take notes when you use different AI tools. All right, Claude Opus 4.5. Here we go. Polished reports, presentations, spreadsheets, and interactive artifacts. Ability to analyze detailed images, charts, and diagrams. Let's also do this. Let's also pull up the tweet that was announced to see how they're marketing this. So let me pull up. Here we go. Claude Opus 4.5. Let's see how they're marketing this bad boy. Opus 4 is the best model in the world for coding agents and computer use. Wow. Opus 4.5 is a step forward in what AI systems can do in a preview of larger changes to how work gets done. Let's check out the benchmarks real quick. So agentic coding, it beats Gemini 3 Pro. This is interesting. So Codex Max, according to their benchmarks, is actually better than Gemini 3 Pro and Sonnet. Interesting. So Opus 4.5 beats them all. Agentic terminal coding. So this is terminal bench. So this is probably what's going to be in Claude Code. Beats Gemini 3 Pro, beats GPT 5.1, including Codex Max. Agentic tool use. Let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see this. Claude Code's on fire. It's completely changed my homepage. Let's see. I'm also going to pull open on my side. I want to pull open a fresh instance of Claude Code to see if this is just immediately in my Claude Code CLI. So take a look at these benchmarks while I pull open Claude Code on my other screen. New folder, Opus test. What do you guys think of these benchmarks? I'm just pulling open a new instance of Claude Code so I can confirm this is in Claude Code as we speak. Claude, let's see here. What do we got? Scaled. So they're trying to make this agentic. Here's the issue with Opus, though, for agentic work is if you build an agent that's doing a ton of work, Opus is so expensive. I wonder if they lowered the prices for this. Welcome to Opus 4.5. Opus 4.5 is in my model. Yep. Wow, it is the default. This is interesting. Let's take a look at this. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. If you go in to Claude Code and boot it up, Opus 4.5 is now the default recommended model. They did not do that with Opus 4.1 because it was so expensive. Before it was recommended you use Opus for planning, Sonnet for implementation. Now the default is Opus 4.5 inside Claude Code. That is major breaking news. I haven't seen the pricing yet. I'm sure it's going to be the third or fourth tweet inside this tweet thread that Anthropic just put out. But my guess is going to be is that Opus 4.5 is significantly cheaper than Opus 4.1. That's going to be my guess. If they are making Opus for the first time ever the default inside Claude Code, my guess is that Opus 4.5 is going to be cheaper than ever. I wouldn't be surprised right now if Opus is the same price as Sonnet, if not just a kiss more expensive, would be my guess. All right, let's just check out the rest of the bookmarks here. benchmarks. And this is all live breaking. We are learning this information live. I'm learning it just as you are live. We're going to go through all the details. Once we go through the benchmarks, the pricing, how it's implemented into everything, we're going to go into the Claude interface to run tests. And then we're going to go into Claude Code and run tests. We're going to go into it all. So this is going to be a full breakdown, deep dive into everything Claude Opus 4.5. Computer use. They're clearly going for one very focused use case, Anthropic, when it comes to Claude. One very focused use case, which is building the greatest AI agent in the world. That is, I think that is becoming very clear now, that Anthropic is trying to make the best AI agent in the world. I would argue at the moment, on November 24th at 11:07 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, it is the best AI agent in the world. You look at OpenAI with ChatGPT, they're going for 100 different things at once. They just released a shopping assistant today, right? They just released a shopping assistant, right? They're going for 100 different things at once. I mean, it makes sense. They've signed contracts for like $2 trillion worth of chips. They have to make money 100 different ways. Anthropic, though, clearly just going for like agent coding, like that is their niche. Let's see what else we got. Novel problem solving, 37%. Gemini only has a 31%. And just as a side note, I think all benchmarks are made up, but that's fine. Whatever. Wow. Dominates Sonnet 4.5 in novel problem. Check the UI for websites. We're going to do that. We're going to check building UIs. We're going to do every test under the sun. Every test under the sun. Let me write that down and make sure I remember your request here. Platin Newman. Test UI building for websites versus Sonnet and Gemini. Okay. Graduate level reasoning. Interesting. Gemini 3 Pro beats it for graduate level reasoning. And props to Anthropic for displaying these benchmarks, even though they don't win on all the benchmarks, right? Some of these companies, they refuse to show benchmarks when they lose. Anthropic is showing it even when they lose. So graduate level reasoning, but I don't think this was ever meant to be like a research tool. I don't think Claude was ever supposed to be like a deep research tool. It's supposed to be an agentic tool. Visual reasoning. GPT 5.1 wins on visual reasoning. Interesting. And multilingual Q&A. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of Gemini's sweet spot, is like the Q&A, getting answers. Opus and Anthropic's always been about the agentic, getting things done, I feel like. It's over for OpenAI, says, I don't even know how to begin to pronounce that name. I don't know. We'll do tests. ChatGPT 5.1, even with Gemini 3 out, has still been my go-to model for business planning. I think 5.1 thinking is the best business planning model ever, but will Opus 4.5 past that? We'll see. Let's see what else we got in this announcement thread. And then we're going to go deep into the tests. We're going to go deep into the tests. Let's just click try to see make sure it opens up for me. Opus 4.5. We're live with it. All right. Our engineers have found that Opus 4.5 handles ambiguity and reasons about trade-offs without hand-holding. What the hell did they just say? Our engineers have found that Opus 4.5 handles ambiguity and reasons about trade-offs without handle. Is that a real sentence, or they just make that sentence up? Does that mean anything? What the hell does that mean? Handles ambiguity and reasons about trade-offs without handholding. Whatever. When pointed at complex multi-system bugs, it figures out the fix. I mean, that's a fact. That actually means something. Claude Code with Sonnet 4.5. Anytime I run into bugs with code in Gemini 3, anytime I run into bugs with code in ChatGPT 5.1, I hand it to Claude Opus or Sonnet 4.5, and it fixes it immediately. It is the best bug solving model ever. And Opus 4.5, if that improves on it any amount, is incredible. Hey, Alex, love to see you. I love to see you, Holographic. We love to see you. We are releasing new product features across our model lineup. For Claude app users, long conversations no longer hit a wall. For Claude app users, long conversations no longer hit a wall. That means you can have like infinite context in a conversation. That's massive. That's mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing. By the way, everyone, we have 154 people here. Leave a like down below. Everyone, 153 likes right now. Everyone leave a like down below. Let's blow this party up and get it started. Claude automatically summarizes earlier context as necessary, so you can keep the chat going indefinitely. That's actually revolutionary. Indefinite chats. That is a massive, massive game changer. New on the Claude developer platform, tool search, programmatic tool calling, and tool use examples. Together with effort control and context compaction, these let Claude run longer and do more. I wonder, this has to apply to the Claude Code chat as well. You got to think. This has to apply to the Claude Code chat as well, where you just make your Claude Code chats significantly longer. If that is true, if you can basically make your Claude Code chats infinitely longer, let me write this down. Claude Code chats infinitely longer. If that is true, that is a massive step forward for a million different reasons. This is a revolutionary. If this is true and my Claude Code chats can now be of infinite length, this is a bigger advancement than Gemini 3. Write that down. We're going to go into Claude Code after this, and we're going to test it out too. If the chats are indefinite length, and it can just keep its context for hours and hours and hours, this is a bigger release than Gemini 3. We're going to have to test that first. Claude Code is now available in our desktop app. Oh, baby, we're going to test out the Claude desktop app as well. Let me pull open the Claude desktop app. We're going to pop that open. That is huge. Oh, I'm on a 5.5-hour flight tomorrow. I'm going to be on the Claude Code desktop app all day, baby. We're going to test that out. It might suck. I don't know. We'll see. There is code inside. There is a Claude Code section inside. Oh, there is a Claude Code desktop. Okay, interesting. So the Claude Code desktop app is just Claude for web, but on desktop. Anyway, we'll go inside in a second. I literally have to pee. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to have to take a pee break soon. We've also expanded Claude for Chrome to all Max plan users. We've also expanded Claude for Chrome. Anyone using Claude for Chrome? It's cool, but it's like, is it a thing I'm going to use every day? Probably not. Max team and enterprise users can work with Claude directly in Excel. I don't give a crap about Excel. Opus 4.5 is available today in our API and on all 3 major cloud platforms. Where's the pricing? They don't show pricing? Let's get into pricing. It has to be in the read more. If it's available in the API, there's going to be first impressions. They give first impressions of their own model. GitHub and Windsurf, they should be putting my tweet. They should be taking quotes from this live stream and putting it in here. Evaluating. Okay, so let's see. Multilingual coding. All right, so there are more benchmarks in here. Looks like it's the king of everything when it comes to coding. Concerning behavior, who cares? I want it to be naughty. I want the naughtiest behavior possible. Looks like it has the least amount of concerning behaviors. It's not going to be prompt injected. New on the software engineering with effort controls. So we can change the effort control on here. That's amazing. Solves a puzzle game. All right, where's the, okay. Project Claude Code showed what's possible, the kind of upgrades that we've made to Claude developer platform. All right, so here's the Claude Code gains 2 upgrades with Opus 4.5 plan mode. So we have upgrades to Opus 4.5 plan mode. Now builds more precise plans and executes them more thoroughly. Claude asks clarifying questions up front, then builds a user-editable plan.md file before executing. Okay, so before they were building with the plan mode like a to-do list that you either say yes or no on, right? Yes or no on. Now it actually makes a plan.md file, which actually I was putting in agent.md or claude.md, the instruction file for it to do. So I was already doing that. I was just manually doing that. So Anthropic kind of copied my workflow with this. Claude then asks clarifying questions up front, then builds a user editable plan.md file. So for those who don't know, and I just figured this out last week, you should, at the moment for plan mode, be using the CLI because the CLI asks you more detailed questions when you're in plan mode. When you're in the extension, it does not ask you as detailed questions. It does not give you multiple choice questions. So just so you know, this is something I learned recently, and it looks like they're improving this even further. 4.5 plan mode. You want to be in the CLI when it comes to plan mode. It is going to ask you better multiple choice questions. Claude Opus 4.5 API costs. Input $5 per million tokens, output. So it is still very expensive. I think that's cheaper than 4.1. I think that's cheaper than 4.1, but it's still very expensive, which is a little disappointing because if I want to build an agent, my own custom agent that uses Opus 4.5, that's going to cost me a lot of money with those prices. That's going to cost me a lot of money. But it is what it is. I mean, you're paying for quality, in my opinion. I think Sonnet 4.5, despite all the hype that every other model's been getting over the last couple months, has been the king for coding and agentic work. It just has. No one has dethroned Sonnet 4.5. So the fact that they got through an entire cycle from Sonnet 4.5 to Opus 4.5 while still winning that entire cycle is mind-blowing. Products like Claude Code shows what's possible when the kind of upgrades we made at Claude Developer Platform come together. Claude Code gains 2 upgrades with Opus 4. Oh, we talked about that. Claude Code's now available in our desktop app. Letting you run multiple local and remote sessions in parallel. So you can run local sessions in here as well. So you go there, you can go. That is not what my Claude Code user interface looks like. Maybe I got to do an update to my Claude desktop. We're going to test Claude desktop app out as well. That is just not what my user interface looks like on the Claude Code desktop app. It looks different than that. Oh well. We'll go into test that as well. For Claude app users, long conversations no longer hit a wall. Okay, I want to get some details on that. Yeah, I had same issue. Yeah, my Claude desktop, that looks much better than my Claude desktop app. My Claude Code desktop app does not look like that. So whatever. Not sure you've gotten into it yet, but pricing is $5 per million. That is according to the blog post, I believe. Yeah, okay, so it's a third the price of Opus 4.1. Thank you, John Listen 7520 for the comparison. It is a third the price. If this is better than Claude Sonnet and a third the price of Opus 4.1, have to do an update on Claude desktop app. Okay. Thank you for that. I'm gonna run that update now. Claude, restart to update. Okay, restart to update. Thank you. Thank you for that update. Eric SR. All right, for Claude app users, okay, we have to hear about this. This is big. This might be the biggest update of it all. This might be the sneaky biggest update of them all. Let me write this down. This is the biggest update of them all. Biggest update of, I should have wore a diaper for this because this is making me want to pee. Anyway, sorry, too much information. Long conversations no longer hit a wall. Claude automatically summarizes earlier context as needed so you can keep the chat going. So that's interesting. It's doing compaction of the conversation on the fly. Okay, calm down, test it. Well, C69888, we need to know what it's improving so we know what to test. We need to know what it's improving so we know what to test. So it seems like it does conversation compaction as it goes. Best model for script writing. All right, we're going to have to write a script for a Claude Opus 4.5 video. Each of these we announced Claude for Excel in October. I think this is the most underrated announcement of all of this. Your chats, and I'm going to assume this applies to Claude Code as well, are now of infinite length. That's huge. Okay, it looks like it's more tightly integrated with Google tools as well. Google just made a big investment in Anthropic, and Anthropic just signed a deal to buy a bunch of Google TPUs to train stuff. One of those kind of circular investments where, hey, I invest in you, you invest in me, and all our market caps go up. They did that. For Claude and Claude Code used with Axe to Opus 4.5, we've removed Opus-specific caps. Was there Opus-specific caps before? For Max and Team Premiums, we've increased overall usage limits. Oh, so for Claude Max, if you're on the $100 or $200 a month plans of Claude, you now have higher limits. That's one of the biggest complaints I got. Every time I tell people Claude Code's the best, Claude Code's the best, I go, oh yeah, but the limit stinks. The limit stinks. It looks like that will no longer, well, might be an issue, but it's less of an issue now, meaning you'll have roughly the same number of Opus tokens as you previously had with Sonnet. Let's go. You can now use, so that's huge. They're basically telling you we want to replace Sonnet 4.5 inside of Claude Code. It's basically what they're doing here. You now have the same limits with Opus as you do Sonnet. So they are willing to let you use Opus just as much. Before they were like, hey, just use Opus for planning. Don't use it for implementation. Use Sonnet for planning. Now they're saying we're giving you the same usage limits. We're reducing the limits, right? It's a little bit more expensive, but you get the same limit. So they're basically saying Opus is you should be your daily driver. I'm also going to expect, if this is true, what they're announcing here, I'm also going to expect Opus speed limits, speed increases. That's what I'm going to guess that this Opus's speed is actually faster as well. So we got to do some speed tests. Let me write that down. Speed tests of Opus versus Sonnet. We have to do that as well. I'm kind of planning this out as we go along. This is breaking news. It's all the cost. It's all the computer power they got recently. Yeah, they got a ton of TPUs from Google. They bought a ton of NVIDIA chips. Alex, wow, you're getting near 250 viewers. Yeah, everyone leave a like down below. I want 250 likes on this video. Okay, so that's the news. That is the news. Let us check out real quick. We're going to go into Claude Opus in 1 second. Let's just check out the desktop app. Let's see what the desktop app is looking like. So this is what Claude desktop app's looking like. We open the sidebar. Let's go into, oh, wow, it is integrated directly in. So before there was a code section right here. There was a code tab right there. Now it is directly integrated in. Okay, here we go. This is interesting. Welcome to Claude Code, your agentic coding partner that works directly in your code base now with a simple visual interface. Okay. Install runtime dependencies. Can I play with the little crab here? No. Okay. Install dependencies. Let's get these dependencies installed. Can I get early access to Vibe Coding Academy? Can't wait. If I just finished filming all of the Claude Code Masterclass last night. If I get it all edited and up early, you'll get early access. Claude Code Masterclass waitlist, description down below. Vibe Coding Academy, description down below. Sign up for that waitlist. That's going to be massive. Link down below. All right, here we go. So let's see what we can do. Oh, this is sick. So I won't need to use the CLI or the extension. You can do everything right here. You can do everything right here. So you can select new folders in here. Let's do this. Let's select something I've been working on lately. Hopefully nothing crazy pops up in my Claude Haiku project, crypto scanner, live stream, market app. Let me do this. Let me pull up an app we can work on right now on here to see what this looks like. Let's find, let's just do a harness test here. Open this up. All right, here we go. Let's go back into Claude Code Desktop. This is huge. We might not need to open this up. If this works well, I'm sorry, I was originally going to go into Claude and then just test Claude Opus in like the Claude.ai, but I'm so in love with Claude Code, I have to see how this works. So we're in this fresh project here, local work tree. We can choose our models, Opus, Sonnet 4.5, everything's updated to 4.5. Nice, nice, everything's 4.5. Create or update my Claude.md file, search for a to-do comment, recommend areas to improve our test. Claude Code may read, write, or execute files in the folder. This can pose security risks. Okay. So let's do this. Let's build out an app here to see what this looks like. Let's build out, let's do one of our benchmark tests. Should we do one of our benchmark tests right now? See how it builds it out? Let me pull open my benchmark prompts. Let's just benchmark this right here. Alex Finn, world famous Alex Finn benchmark test right here. So let's test this out. Let's go straight into, all right, we'll do the first-person shooter test. So we're going to have it build a 3D first-person shooter using Three.js. There's a couple things I'm looking for in this benchmark test we do here. One, creativity. I'm hoping this isn't a cyberpunk-themed, neon-themed shooter. Every AI spits out cyberpunk neon theme shooter. If this is anything but a cyberpunk neon theme shooter, I will be wildly impressed. 2, can it figure out what the latest version of the Three.js CDN is and run it right away in one shot? No other model can do this. Grok can't do this in 100 tries. ChatGPT takes like 5 tries. Gemini, I think, took 2 or 3 tries. I want to see if it can figure out what the latest version of the Three.js CDN is and run it. Here we go. Claude Code test, Opus 4.5 desktop, first run. Let's see how this goes. I'm excited to see what the interface of this is. Claude Code desktop. So we're testing out Claude Code desktop here in Opus 4.5. All right, what do we got down here? I got to allow access on a couple of things. VS Code CLI. What's the difference between, what happens if I click VS Code? Will it pop open VS Code? All right, so interesting. Oh, beautiful. So it's asking if I want to allow the skills. Let's allow it. That's great. So it goes, interesting. It went right into plan mode by default. So you don't have the choice or option when you go in for plan mode or do mode. The first task you put in, unless I missed the option, which I don't think I missed it. We went through every element of the UI. It went straight into plan mode by default. So it kind of forces you into plan mode. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can enjoy this. Interesting. So it goes right into plan mode. It pulls in the relevant skills automatically. So Claude Code with Opus 4.5 pulled in the relevant skills automatically, which is the front end design skill, which is sick. And then it started building out the plan. This is interesting. This is a different type of, okay, so no, that's the entire design skill. Oh, so it's working. It's working as we go here. So it created a to-do list, creating 3D first-person shooter game, implement player controls, design stylistic visual environment, add enemy AI and combat system, implement power-ups, and add visual effects. So a lot of really interesting things going on here that I'm noticing right off the rip in Claude Code Opus 4.5 in the new Claude Code desktop app. Number 1, went straight into the to-dos. Number 2, automatically pulled the relevant skill. Number 3, shows you the skill. So when I was using Claude Code in Visual Studio or the CLI, when it pulled in the relevant skill, it doesn't show you the whole skill. Just using the skill, by the way. And also, it didn't always pull it in. Actually, my hit rate for pulling in relevant skills was probably somewhere between 20 and 30%. 20 and 30% of the time when I give a command, did it actually pull in a relevant skill? This pulled it in first try, and it was like the first thing it did. So that's really, really interesting here. Really interesting. I wonder, is what's selected here? Okay, so it has the CLI selected. So it's running the CLI inside this desktop app. Is it better than Gemini 3? Yes or no, says Data Newt. Well, we're about to find out. We're running our first test. I will say this, giving you some context as Claude Code runs here, just giving you some context as Claude Code on the brand spanking new Claude desktop app runs here. I did not think Gemini 3 was better than Claude Code. I did not think Gemini 3. So going into this test, Gemini 3, I thought Claude Code was already better. From a benchmark perspective, Gemini 3 did actually benchmark higher than Claude Sonnet. But okay, here we go. So, all right, so it's asking for, by default, it asks for yes or no changes on everything. We're going to allow for this session. From a speed perspective, I will say this is not as fast as Sonnet. So speed perspective, wow, okay, so it just actually at one shot all, that's interesting. So this is interesting. It has all the to-dos done. So it basically one shot the two. So I was about to say this is slower than Sonnet, but actually it's just as fast, because I thought it was doing one to-do at a time. I thought it was still working on the first to-do, but it jumped from all to-dos to all of them being done. It one-shot the entire to-do list. I've created Void Hunter, a stylized cyberpunk 3D. All right, so it still does cyberpunk 3D. Open cybershooter.html in your browser. All right. Are we ready for the first benchmark test? This is exciting. First benchmark test. What folder did we do this in? Harness test. All right. First benchmark test, Claude Code. Oh my God. I'll just say this. I'm seeing this before you guys are seeing it because it opened up in a different window. It's the nicest menu. It's the nicest menu of a game ever built in any of our benchmark tests. You guys ready for this? Here we go. This is exciting. This is really exciting stuff. Is it going to be outrageously expensive and impossible to really use? Says Brenale Itebo. Well, we already actually got answers to that, Brenale. It is a third of the price of Opus 4.1. It is the third of the price. It's added 1,700 lines in one prompt. Yes, it added. Was that 1,700 lines? Wow. The previous high in lines of code written for the first-person shooter test was 800 lines of code. This over doubled it in maybe faster time. So I actually thought it was slower at first because I thought it was taking all that time on the first task. It actually did all that time for all 6 tasks. So it might actually be faster. Let's do this. I'm going to share the tab so you can hear the sound. I want to make sure you hear sound if there's any sounds in that. Share sound. All right, so sound will be on for this. Here we go. WASD move, mouse to aim, click to shoot, space to jump, shift to dash, R to reload. I like the style. Look at this menu. Look at the stylized logo. Oh my God. Oh, I fell off. Click to restart. Oh my God. Oh, I keep falling off the platform. Oh my God. All right, so I keep falling off the platform. Those are the lines of the platform. I can't fall off of it. I'm just going to say this. You're talking very slow and it's annoying. I'm talking very slow. You're typing your replies very slow. I mean, right off the rip, this is the best visual game ever made by an AI in one shot that we've done in all our benchmarks. We've tested combos. They have combos. They have combos. They have combos. Combo with multipliers. Can I jump up there? No, I can't jump up there. I can't. The platform's killing me. The size of the platform's killing me. I keep falling off. I can't. I'm just gonna stand still. This is the best ever. This is the best ever to do it. This is the best. This is the best ever. I don't know if you can hear the sounds. The sounds are great. Visually, it's on a whole nother level. Visually, it's on a whole nother level. Visually, oh my God! And they have the wave, and they show the score from the wave. Oh, I didn't even notice the mini map in the bottom left. Oh, what's going on here? All right, now it's going to crash my computer. It's spawning too many enemies. Wow. Do I think Gemini 3 is better? No, that was the best I've ever seen. For anyone who's seen me benchmark any other models, that was the best I've ever seen. And it wasn't even close. And it wasn't even remotely close. We have tested a ton of models with that benchmark. GPT-5, Opus 4.1, Grok 4 coding fast, Kimi K2 thinking, Sonnet 4.5, GPT 5.1, 4.1 beta, 4.1 thinking, Gemini 3 Pro, 5.1 Pro, Sonnet 4.5 in Claude Code, and now Opus 4.5. It is not even remotely close. It is not even remotely close. If Sonnet 4.5 was a 7.9, and that was one shot. That was one shot. It figured out how to use the latest CDN in one shot. Just as context here, 5.1 Pro couldn't figure out how to use 3JS. Gemini 3 Pro took 3 or 4 tries to figure out how to use Three.js's latest CDN. Grok 4.1 thinking I could bribe it $1 million. It would never in a trillion years figure out how to use Three.js. GPT 5.1 thinking took a few tries. Sonnet 4.5 was one shot, but it was good. It was solid. It wasn't great. Kimi K2 was 1 or 2 shots. Grok 4, yeah, right. Opus 4.1, 1 shot, but it was all right. That was unbelievable. That's an 8.6. That's an 8.6. That was unbelievable. I can't give a game a 9 until it by default makes something that's not cyberpunk themed. The moment a game makes something that's not cyberpunk themed by default, I'll give it a 9. I cannot give a 9. That's an 8.6 out of 10. What do you guys give that 1 to 10? That is incredible. That is unbelievable. We got to do the Elon test. So now we're going to do the Elon test. Let's go. So we're running the full benchmarks. We ran the first-person shooter test. It is by far the best. If you are just joining right now, Claude Opus 4.5 just released. And it is, I say this in a lot of different model videos, this is the greatest AI model to ever release. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's smarter, it writes significantly better code. It has basically infinite context window. You get infinite length chats. They implemented Claude Code for desktop, which is amazing. We're going to go right back into Claude Code for desktop now. We're going to go right back into Claude Code for desktop now and continue these tests. Oh, I just have to change one thing on the benchmark, which is this is in Claude Code. So I'm going to say Opus 4.5 in Claude Code. We have to be clear about that. It is Opus 4.5 in Claude Code. All right. Let's do this. We're going to do the Elon Musk test in here. We're going to do the Elon test. So new folder, Elon test. All right, let's do this. Let's go back. Let's do a new one, new session. Interesting. It has all of the sessions from Claude Code built into Claude Code desktop. That is interesting. All right. That's cool. All right. So let's do this. I'm going to open up the Elon test. So we're doing, for those who are new, we have over 400 people here. This is the largest stream we've ever done. We're testing Opus 4.5. I do 4 benchmark tests for every new model that comes out. The first benchmark test was by far the best we've ever seen. We're now doing the second one, which is building an animation of Elon Musk. We're going to see how good it can go. How well can it draw a human being? How well can it animate the human being? We want to make it dance. Am I on max? Yes, I am. For one shot, that was absolutely amazing. Benchmarks are great. Adaptation is key. 100%. Gemini 3 had the best benchmarks I've ever seen, but I still liked Claude Sonnet more. Here we go. I am absolutely blown away. So we're going to build that out. We're going to build the Elon test right now. We're going to see how this goes. We just ran a benchmark on building a 3D first-person shooter for those who missed it, and it was the best 3D first-person shooter I've ever seen built with an AI. It was the best I've ever seen. I'm going to quote, as this builds right now, as Claude Code's building right now, I'm putting out a tweet. This is the best AI model I've ever used. Period. Been testing it this morning. It is one-shotting apps and games better and faster than any other model I've ever seen, and it isn't close. What's all right? Wow, is it already done? How many lines of code did it do? Okay, allow always for this session. Did it pull in the new? Okay, it didn't pull in the visual skill. That's interesting. 100 lines of code. I think that's pretty good for the Elon animation test. What the average Joe is now able to build by themselves is beyond comprehension. Drop what you're doing and use this model now. Been testing it. Been testing. It's more, is one-shotting apps better? Okay, let's see what we got here. Is it done? It's done. Did it write the code? Okay, it wrote the code. You guys ready for this? Elon test. Let's see this. I mean, it's worth the hype. It's worth the hype. Anyone who's been watching this entire, oh my God. Oh my God. Are you ready for the best Elon animation benchmark we have ever ran in the history of this channel? Opus 4.5 lives up to the hype and exceeds all of it. Before I show this test, I'm a little bit of a showman. We have to build up the drama and suspense here. For those who have missed it, this morning, Claude Opus 4.5 released. And they said it was the best coding model ever. They said it was the best agentic model ever. We started doing tests the moment it dropped. This is the first time an AI company has hyped a model and has not only lived up to the hype, it has exceeded the hype. What Claude Opus can do for the price and speed it does it is absolutely amazing. Before this test, we ran a 3D first-person shooter test. It was the best 3D first-person shooter I've ever seen an AI make, and it did it in one shot. For this next test, we are doing an animation of Elon Musk dancing. And for those who have ever watched this benchmark before, this is a very world-famous benchmark we're running here. You know this might be the weakest of the 4 tests. Every time we have a model build an animation of Elon Musk dancing, the arms fly off, the legs fly off, the feet fly off, the tie flies off. It looks nothing like a human being. It looks totally stupid. This is the first time an AI model has built an animation of a person that actually looks like he's dancing. You are about to see the first time we have run these benchmarks. We've run these benchmarks on 100 different models. This is the first time out of the 100 different models it has built an animation that actually looks like a human being dancing. It has never come close. It has never come close to this before. This is by far the best of the Elon dancing animations we've ever gotten out of an AI model. I've never seen the face move and his smile change. I've never seen it bopping up and down like it's dancing. The torso shaking like it's dancing. The head's bopping like it's dancing. This is the best it's ever done. This is the best it's ever done. If you're laughing and you're like, this looks stupid and silly, you don't understand how bad these models have been. Literally, most of the models, the arms and legs are flying off. He's not even remotely dancing. They just kind of move around in circles. 1 out of 10. If Gemini 3 Pro was a 7.8, that has to be at least an 8.4. I think that's an 8.4. Next test. Okay. And listen, anyone who was laughing at this saying, oh, that looks stupid, you look at our other benchmarks of other models. It wasn't even close. This is by far the best it has ever done. This is by far the best it has ever done. If you think this is bad, look at any of my other benchmark videos. It is not even close. All right. The next is a 3D city fly-through test. This is the hardest benchmark of them all. This is the most challenging benchmark. If it can nail this, it could nail anything. Oh, let me send off that tweet. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this city. Let me create a new folder. New folder, city, fly through. Let's pop that sucker open. New session. I love this Claude desktop app. I love it. I love it. This is great. This is full-time what I'll be coding in from now on. This is fantastic. Opus 4.5. All right. The next test is the hardest one yet for these models. This is the hardest test yet for the models. It has to build a 3D city fly-through simulator. It has to build an entire city and have a camera fly through it. Been testing it this morning. It's been one-shotting apps better and faster than any other model I've ever seen, and it isn't close. What the average Joe is now able to build by themselves is beyond comprehension. Drop what you're doing and use this model now. Let's see what we got here. So we're going to build a 3D city fly-through with Opus 4.5. Does it really has infinite context window? Is that even possible, even with Claude Code? So technically, it probably isn't an infinite context window. They just implemented a new system where it is able to kind of compact important information on the fly. So you pretty much have, like, you can just keep the chat going indefinitely. Run each test 4 times. It did it in less than 200 lines of code. Yeah, and it did it like lightning quick. It did it basically instantly. All right, so we're going to build the 3D city fly-through test. We have so many more tests to go. We're going to test out Claude in the desktop app to see how that goes, just straight up the chat. We're going to test it with business planning because I'm going to be honest with you. I think 5.1 thinking is better for business planning, but I haven't tested with Opus yet. So we're going to see what this new Opus is like. We're going to test it for content creation. We're going to test it in the CLI. And we're going to test it in the extension for Visual Studio. We have a lot of tests to go today. We are totally locked into 4.5. Claude, Opus, 4. Claude Opus is the best AI model I've ever used. It's one-shotting apps better and faster than any other model, and it isn't close. Boom, I just sent out a massive tweet. All right. Is it done? Is it done already? 400 lines of code just like that? And what's crazy about this model is it's one-shotting to-do lists. Look at this. Not even Sonnet does this. It is one-shotting to-do lists. It shows you a whole to-do list, and then it just goes, okay, all the to-dos are done. One step. Here's all your to-dos. One step later, to-do is done. Are you guys ready? Oh my God. It's the GOAT. We found the GOAT. We found the GOAT model. Claude Opus 4.5 is the greatest model ever. I mean, the level of detail here, there are 3 different colors you can have for the windows. You have details on top of the buildings. Some have antennas, some have just a little block. The shadowing is spectacular. You have shadows in all the buildings. The different sides of the buildings have different colors based on where the shadows are. It's buttery smooth. When we ran this test with Grok 4.1, my computer literally melted into goop. When I ran this, and this is all one shot. That's the important thing to note here. This might be the most important part of this entire test. Is it hasn't messed up or introduced a bug or error once. Everything you've seen so far in the 3 tests we've done has been one shot, 0 errors. The roofs have shadows. You can even see kind of the lighting, like the lighting from the light source on top of the roofs. It is silky, buttery smooth. And it did this in, I mean, look how it works. So it is building the best one-shot apps in our benchmarks we've ever seen. And look how it thinks. Look how it thinks here. It creates a to-do list, and then it just writes all the code and says, okay, all the to-dos are done. If you missed any of the previous tests, I will open up all 3 tests. If you missed any of the previous tests, I will open up all 3 tests for you, and we will review the tests. So stick around if you missed any of the previous tests. But if you missed any of them, they are the best we've ever seen in this test. The limits, they have raised the limits. It's equal to Sonnet now. You can use Opus just as much as Sonnet. Not only can you use Opus just as much as Sonnet, but they actually turn on Opus by default. They actually turn on Opus by default. So they by default make it Opus instead of Sonnet. That is mind-blowing. We have one more benchmark test to run before we go into all our other tests. I really need to pee. I drank so much coffee and water this morning. It'll blow your brains off. Give me 35 seconds. Everyone introduce themselves in the chat. I will be right back. We're back. Okay. So this is amazing. On Claude, it's lower in PHP. Hey guys, Ross from Johannesburg. Nice to meet you, Ross. Kirk from Dirk. If you're brand new to the channel, by the way, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm going to put out a full Claude Opus 4.5 succinct rundown, right? This is kind of a marathon. We're going through all the benchmarks. We're going through all the differences, all the features. I'm going to put out my succinct, like 10-minute breakdown later today or tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you get alerted. It's be like your masterclass, master guide, like the guide you take and you read through and you're good to go and you master Claude Opus 4.5. I'm going to say this right now. It is the most important video I'm going to ever put out. So hit subscribe, turn on notifications for that. Make sure to leave a like down below. I want 460 likes down below right now. Let's go into the final coding benchmark we have, which is the music visualizer, test. So those, I didn't even score this yet. I mean, it's the best we've ever done. I mean, if Gemini 3 is a 7.7, that has to be an 8.2. Test front end GenMate. We are going to that. So we're going to do a lot of different tests here. So we have just our classic Alex Finn benchmark, which is 4 tests compared to every other model. Yeah, it's a 7.9. It's a 7.9. It's a 7.9. I want to give it, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. It's the best we've ever seen, but there's room for improvement. We're going to do a lot of tests. So we're going to do the classic 4 tests. Then I also want to test business planning. I want to test content creation. Let me write this down so we have a good itinerary here. test business planning, content creation, front end UI. We're going to test. So like, hey, build me a landing page. We'll see how good the landing page is. Is this the $20 or $200 version? This is a $200 version. But they said in the announcement that they increased limits. So you get just as much Opus as you do Sonnet. So you can use Opus just like you do Sonnet. And based on our tests so far, it is just as fast, if not faster than Sonnet. So at this point, I don't see any reason to use Sonnet anymore. Let's go into the last benchmark, the music visualizer test. So we're going to pull open Claude Code again. The music visualizer test. So for this final test, we're going to do a test where it has to create its own song and then create a visualizer for that song. I'm going to be on, and this is not me just like being a hype guy. Anyone who knows me, I don't hype. We've tested models that we've absolutely lambasted on here. We don't just hype everything we see. We've tested plenty of models that I've absolutely lambasted. Write that down. My vocabulary is phenomenal. For instance, Grok 4.1. We absolutely destroyed it. Also, shout out Grok team. I'm going to be in the XAI hackathon in 2 weeks. I'm going to be at the XAI headquarters for 24 straight hours hacking. This is going to be music visualizer test. All right, let's do a music visualizer test. And for those just joining as well, this is Claude Code for desktop. This is the new Claude Code for desktop app. It is great. So this just released, so much to release today. Shout out Anthropic, man. This is the new Claude Code desktop app where you can use Claude Code. You don't need to use the CLI or extension anymore. So let's go in. Let's do music visualizer test. We're going to have Claude Opus 4.5 build a music visualizer for us. It's going to have to create a song and build a music visualizer. And we're off and running. So for the value 200, I mean, listen, there's a lot of people who go, oh, $200 is so expensive. I mean, obviously everyone has different financial situations, right? So, you can't really be like, oh, this is cheap, this is expensive. Everyone's in a different financial situation. But I will say this. I think $200 is the best value. Claude Code for $200 is the best value of all time. Because what most people are doing is the wrong mindset. They're thinking, oh, $200, I pay $20 for Netflix. That's 10 times more expensive. That's really expensive, right? That's the way I think most people's mindsets are. Oh, I pay $60 for YouTube TV. Wow, $200 is a lot. That's not the mindset you need to have. The mindset you need to have is, if I were to hire a developer right now to build me out an entire app, I'd be paying $15,000 a month for that developer. Instead, I get to hire a developer for $200 a month. Claude Opus 4.5 and Claude Code. Instead of paying $15,000 for a developer, I'm paying $200 instead. That's kind of the mindset shift. Because when you buy useless subscriptions like Netflix, that's just money going down the drain. That's just money going into a friggin' blender. Brrr, and it goes and poof, gone. But when you put money into something like AI, and this is not just Claude Code, ChatGPT Pro, whatever the kids are using nowadays, that's an investment in a creation of value, right? You're spending $200, and by the way, it's already done. You're investing in a creation of value. You're investing in the creation of apps. The apps can lead to you making money. I pay $200 a month for Claude Code. I built Creator Buddy with it that makes $300,000 a year. Was that worth $200? If you spend $20 on Netflix, you're not getting any value back. It's an investment. Already done. This is my favorite part about Claude. it gives you a to-do list, and then it just just does everything at once. It always just one-shots everything. It's like, okay, I got to do these 4 things. Never mind, I just did everything. I just did everything. Is this only available for the $200 plan? No, you can get the $17 a month plan, and it does this. But I think you should do the $100 a month. You do hype, though, Alex. You called it beyond comprehension. I can comprehend all of this. Well, I can't. I can't comprehend it. Claude.ai, download the desktop app or the Apple Mac App Store. All right, we ready? Music visualizer test. Music visualizer test. Here we go. One shot. It makes to-do lists, and it's like, I'll just do everything. Screw it. I'll just do everything. Screw it. All right, here we go. Music visualizer test. I'm not even going to preview this. We're just going to open it up. We're going to experience it at the same time together. Yeah, you don't have to jump straight to the $200. Go to the $100, test it out, see if it's for you. Oh, I got to make it so you can hear the sound. Here we go. Synth visualizer. Here we go. Music visualizer test. For those new to the game here, for those new to the world famous Alex Finn benchmark, this test involves Claude Opus 4.5, creating an entire song by itself, then creating a visualizer for that song. It's only valuable for those who would know how to use Claude to build something valuable enough to get the ROI. So for everyone, it's not valuable. For those who do, it's gold. Yeah, but how, the Marine from Texas, how do you think people get to the point of building something valuable? There's not just like a subsect of people that just know how to build things valuable. How do you think they got there? The only way to build things valuable is by building things that aren't valuable. And by building things that aren't valuable, you get closer to building things valuable. So this mindset of, oh, only a select few can build cool things. Only a select few can build an audience on YouTube. Only a select few can build an audience on X. Only a select few can use Claude Code to build things that make money. Well, actually, you're right. Because a vast majority of people have this mindset, which is, oh, only a select few can do it. Most people have this kind of like zero-sum mindset where like, okay, if only these people are winning, then everyone else is losing. Right? It's positive sum. The only way you're going to get to that point where you're building valuable things is when you're putting yourself out there, you're paying whatever it is to try Claude Code. You build stuff, you build a whole bunch of crap that no one wants to use, that sucks, that's broken, that took you a month straight of sleepless nights to build, that no one uses, and you make $0 off of. But then you eventually build that winning thing, that amazing thing. So you want to eliminate this mindset as quickly as humanly possible, and you just want to start building stuff, bro. Here we go. Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. It's the best one yet. That's the best one yet. Claude Opus 4.5 has blown away every single one of the benchmarks we've done. 1 to 10. If the previous best was GPT-5 at 8.1, no, previous best was 5. Previous best was Gemini 3 Pro at 8.4. Then that has to be an 8.6. I can't give it into the nines. Like, not, The 9s are reserved for any model that can build things that are not like AI themed, right? The first person shooter test was the best we've ever seen, but it was like cyberpunk themed, right? The Elon dancing test, that was great. The music visualizer was the best we've ever seen, but it was like the blue and purple gradients, right? The moment these models can start building things that don't feel like AI, that's when we get into the 9s. It's the best ever. It blew away every benchmark. It blew away every benchmark. Equals some. It blew away every benchmark. It was the best by far. In all 4 categories, it was by far the best. In all 4 categories, it was by far the best ever. 33.5 out of 40. The best benchmark test we've ever run. And it isn't even close. Wow. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. We've tested we did all 4 benchmark tests. And here's the best part. It one-shot it all. It one-shot it all. It didn't mess up on a single other one. And for all the other models, we're going to do more tests. We have a lot more tests ahead of us. This isn't the end. We need harder benchmarks. Let's do it. Let's create harder benchmarks. In fact, let's use Claude Opus to create harder benchmarks. Let's create harder benchmarks right now. We can do with Claude Opus. Actually, let me just show you this real quick. Give you more thoughts on Claude Code so far before we go on. Sonnet 5 might come out in December. Well, I bet $800 Sonnet 5 was dropping next year, not this year. So hopefully it doesn't come out. I mean, hopefully it does come out in December. But here's the amazing thing is all 4 of these tests, which just absolutely blew away. It was all one shot. It didn't mess it up at all. So for those who are new, this is the new Claude Code for desktop app. This is the new Claude Code for desktop app. It blew it away. Everything was one shot. It didn't mess up a single thing. With GPT, with Gemini, with Grok, we were continuously taking results from the models and giving it to Claude to fix. None of them could one-shot anything. Opus 4.5 one-shot everything. Sonnet 4, I mean, what arguments can you give for using Sonnet 4.5 at this point? They clearly want Opus to replace Sonnet. The pricing's closer, the speed is better, they make it the default. I mean, Opus 4.5 is now the gold standard. I'm right now building a new game. I'm building an extraction shooter game in Claude Code. I think I have to rebuild the entire game, but using Opus instead of Sonnet. Because I think I'm going to get a better foundation for a game. How did you get VS Code in the desktop app? I don't know. I don't even know what. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. What happens when I click VS Code? An external application wants to open this. Yes. Oh, that's sick. So when you click the VS Code button, it opens up VS Code in that folder. So you can just click it and continue editing straight in VS Code. That's awesome. And I assume when I hit CLI, it's going to open up my terminal. Interesting. So it opens up. Okay. So here's how the Claude Code desktop app is working. It's basically a wrapper for your CLI where it has this kind of built-in CLI and then it just stylizes it in this window. So it's basically a UI on top of your CLI. That's interesting. I like that. I don't see any reason to do this in the CLI. I'm just going to do it right in Claude Code for desktop. Trying it now in Cursor. Why would you do this in Cursor? Why not do it right in Claude Code? I have tested Opus 4.5. It's really good at multi-stage editing. Yeah, I mean, what I'm really blown away by here, before we get into our next tests, is it breaks it down into to-dos, and then it's just like, oh, screw it, I'll do everything at once. And it just does everything at once. So it appears that it's now faster than Sonnet, faster and smarter, significantly smarter. So Opus 4.5 is better than Gemini 3 Pro. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it from a coding perspective. From a coding perspective, all the coding tests we've done have been spectacular. What about the next test is a full stack web app? We can do that. Let's do this. Let's have it. Let's talk to Opus and figure out a good full stack web app we can come up with that we can test it with. How do I get Opus 4.5 on Claude Code and desktop app? Update your Claude Code. Update your desktop app. Go to Claude Update, and it should update with it. And you have to be on the paid version of Claude. Yep, we're going to update the which AI to use. We're going to update that. Update the which AI to use with each use case list. All right. Let's do this. Let's go into Opus. Let's figure out a more complex task benchmark we can build with it. I want to benchmark Opus 4.5. I ran the benchmarks below and they did really well, but now I want something more complex. Can you come up with a few options for complex full stack apps we can benchmark Opus 4.5 on? They need to be interesting visual apps that are fun to build. All right, then let's paste in our Alex Finn benchmarks below so it knows the context of what we tried to build before. So now we're going to test out the creativity here. How creative can it get? This is my number one use case for AI. Coming up with novel creative ideas. This is what GPT 5.1 was king of before. Gemini wasn't as good as GPT 5.1 thinking. Sonnet 4.5 wasn't as good as Gemini, GPT 5.1 thinking. When it comes to business and creative planning, let's see how Opus 4.5 can do when it comes to just coming up with novel ideas. How good can it come up with novel creative ideas? So what we're asking it to do right now is come up with interesting benchmarks we can use, interesting full stack apps we can use to build with Opus 4.5. And most AIs you talk to will give you very weird generic ideas that no human would be interested in. For instance, I go to Grok 4.1. I say, hey, I'm building an app store for vibe coded apps. What's a cool feature I can add? And it goes, oh, you can implement soul-bound tokens that level up as users use your app more. It's like no one wants soul-bound tokens in an app store. Here we go. Ideas for benchmarks we can test right now. Real-time multiplayer battle arena, maybe. Collaborative voxel world builder. We could build a Minecraft type game. Better than Gemini 3 Pro. According to our benchmarks so far, significantly better. It is by far the best model we've ever tested so far. Browser-based music production studio. AI Dungeon Master RPG. LLM-powered text adventure with visual components. Build an AI-powered RPG experience. Live trading simulator. Real-time financial market simulation. Build a stock crypto trading simulator. Generative art studio. Create, customize, and share algorithmic art. These aren't bad ideas. Comparison matrix. Okay. I think we build the Minecraft simulator. I think that could be a cool test. Say, hey, build a Minecraft simulator with as much different elements and things you can get as possible. I'm on a 5.5-hour flight tomorrow, and I can't wait to be on Claude Code the entire 5.5 hours. Let's go. All right. Let's see here. The Collaborative voxel world builder. Minecraft Lite with persistence and multiplayer. I don't want the multiplayer. Let's work on the Minecraft idea. But I don't want it to be multiplayer. What's a good benchmark we can do when it comes to building a voxel world builder? All right, let's see how much it now can expand on the ideas and concepts. How much can it take an idea we choose and expand on it and come up with interesting details that people will actually like? Again, this is a big test for the creative thinking part, which I think GPT 5.1 thinking has been the king of. A little bit of background music for you there as we talk to the model. Great call. Removing the multiplayer keeps it focused with a meaty benchmark. Infinite voxel survival. Classic Minecraft style with procedural. Build a browser-based voxel survival game in a single HTML file using 3GS. Terrain. Infinite procedural world with chunk loading, unloading, multiple biomes, caves, and ore veins. Gameplay. First-person controls, block breaking, placing with proper collision, hotbar with 10 block types. Enemies. Procedural creatures that spawn at night. Visuals. Ambient occlusion on blocks, fog that matches sky color. Let's build this. Let's build this. Roguelite means Minecraft. Build a voxel roguelike dungeon crawler in a single procedural multi-floor dungeons with rooms, corridors, traps, combat, melee and ranged weapons, enemy variety, progression, XP and level. Oh, I like that. We're going to do that. A voxel dungeon crawler. Let's do it. So here's what we're going to do. These are good ideas. These are very good ideas. I like this for creative thinking so far. What we're going to do, I think this is a more advanced benchmark we can test. I like this. We're building out more advanced benchmarks here. We're going to have Opus 4.1 build a dungeon crawler hack and slash game. Let me set this up in Claude Code. Dungeon crawler. All right, you guys ready? We're going to go back into Claude Code and build this out. Is it better than Gemini 3.0 Pro? I think it's safe to say so far, resoundingly yes. Absolutely yes. Based on our test so far, Opus 4.5 has blown out every single model we've ever tested. At this price, is there a need to use any other model? Well, we still have to do the creativity test a little bit more. But I would say if you are doing use cases where you're using APIs, I think there's still reasons to use 5.1 mini. I think there's still reasons to use 2.5 flash and eventually 3.0 flash because they're much, much cheaper. This is cheaper than Opus 4.1, but this is still not cheap. This is still not cheap. For those just joining, this is a third the price of Opus 4.1. So we're going to go back into the brand spanking new Claude Code desktop app. We're going to open up, what did I call this? Dungeon crawler? Dungeon crawler. We're going to put in the new prompt that Claude Opus just came up with us. Vogue dungeon crawler, roguelite means Minecraft. Build a voxel roguelike dungeon crawler in a single HTML file. Dungeon generation, so it's going to be a procedural dungeon. So AI is going to generate the dungeon as we go. Combat, melee and ranged weapons, enemy variety, progression. So it's going to have XP and leveling. Building, player can place destroy blocks tactically, build covers, block paths. Torchlight and dynamic shadows. And audio. Let's send it. Let's trust this workspace. So far, we've done a bunch of tests. It's one-shot everything. Why not use Claude in the terminal? Because Jack's crazy stories, because this is brand new, this Claude Code for desktop app, and we want to test it and use it and see if it's better than the CLI. When new things come out, we want to test the new things. We want to use the new things. We want to see how we can change our workflows. Another good model is going to come out, and this is going to become obsolete. I disagree, Lexler34, and here's why. If you're anything like me, coding is your most important use case, right? I build products all day. If you watch my channel, you probably build products because my channel is mostly focused on building products. Side note, if you're brand new to the channel, subscribe and turn on notifications down below. All we do is put out amazing videos like this. We live stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific. Monday, Wednesday, although I'm off this Wednesday and this Friday because of Thanksgiving, I am traveling to Southern Florida to visit family. So I'll be traveling the next few days, so there'll be no live streams this Wednesday or this Friday, but we're back on the preceding Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific time for live streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And all we do is test out new models, figure out new ways to build. The focus of this channel is on building, figuring out how we can build products that create economic value for ourselves, make money, build cool things, have fun, push our limits, stay ahead of the competition, stay ahead of others, and overall just live up to our potentials. I think this is what it's coming down to at the end of the day with AI and building. We're just trying to live up to our potentials. What's the most we can do? What's the most we can create with these tools, with this AI? That's what we're here to find out. Welcome, Phoenix66. Welcome, newest member of the FinFam. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that. All right, let's check out the to-do list here. Appreciate you, Phoenix F66. Good looking guy too. That suit looks good on you. That color works for you, Phoenix F66. That's a good color suit. All right, so we have a pretty complex, this is the biggest to-do list yet. My question is it going to one-shot this to-do list like it did with every other app, or is it going to break it down step by step? At what complexity does it not one-shot an entire to-do list? I'll also say this, if it one-shots this game and all our requirements, I might be prepared to declare AGI. FYI, I can't select Opus 4.5 on Claude Code CLI just yet, but I can get it in Claude Desktop. Meso stuff, it's in my CLI. I have it in my CLI. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's a slow rollout. Claude Code and app also for free users. My guess, Peter Klopp 654 is oh, my voice is a little distorted. Let me turn it down a little bit. I'll turn down the music a little bit. There we go. My guess is Claude Code's not available for free users. That would be my guess. If you want to test out Claude Code, there is a $20 a month plan. You can get your beak wet a little bit, and then you can move up to the $100 tier. Affordability at the moment isn't a real thing. Should be using it to make money, so it is more than pays for itself. $200 for a dev at this tier is an easy expense. Yeah, the way when it comes to anything AI, and we're letting Claude Code build here. So we're having, for those just joining, Claude Code is building a dungeon crawler for us, a voxel dungeon crawler. This is the most complex test we've ever given Claude Code to build out in one shot. But the way your mindset has to be with anything AI related is it needs to be, it's an investment. You can't compare Claude Code, GPT, Gemini. You can't compare those expenses to other expenses. Netflix, an Xbox 360, a PlayStation 5. Those are all sunken costs. These are when you pay for an AI tool like this, where you're building products, potentially building businesses, you're investing, you're making an investment. So you can't compare the $200 cost of Claude Code to the cost of Netflix or the cost of a latte, an oat milk latte, or the cost of, God, whatever the hell you people pay for nowadays. What's the limit on the smallest plan? Is there a way to find out? No, none of these AI companies give you the exact limits. None of them do. But, okay, here we go. Allow for this session. How much code's it writing here? Oh, my God. It just one-shot 2,100 lines of code. If it one-shot every item in this to-do list, I am going to be blown. It one-shot every item in the to-do list. What is that? A minute and a half? It one-shot every item in this to-do list. Creating the HTML structure, implementing the voxel rendering, building the procedural dungeon, creating combat system with melee and ranged weapons, implementing the enemy AI, adding a progression system with leveling and XP and power-ups, implementing block placement, adding dynamic lighting and particle effects, creating a mini-map, implementing audio, adding 10 weapons and 3 floor themes, implementing permadeath and meta progression. And I said, okay, done. One step. Oh, you want me to do all these things? Sure, done. Ten enemy types: zombie, skeleton archer, demons, ghosts, slime, mage, golems, with 3 bosses. 3 bosses. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Is anyone else scared? Let's do it. Should we test it? Is it free? No, it's not free. You have to pay for this. Unfortunately, super intelligence isn't free just yet. So we are building out an entire dungeon crawler to see what Claude Opus 4.5 is capable of. We are in the new Claude Code for desktop app, which we love. What I am blown away by in Claude Opus 4.5 is, 1, the speed. It's faster than Sonnet. Somehow their advanced model is faster than Sonnet. 2, the brains. It's one-shotting everything. All right, everyone's saying start it now. We'll just do it. You want me to stop building hype for it? Use it free on LM Arena. It's not any way to use out freaking new models. Oh, I gotta share it with audio. Let me share it. Let me turn off the background music and share it with audio so you can hear any sounds it created. All right, here we go. Can it see the browser and fix bugs? I mean, the old versions could, so I'm sure this one can. Share audio. All right, Voxel Dungeon. Menu isn't as good as the other menu, but let's see here. Start game. The W, A, S, and D are reversed. What are these, ghosts? All right, killed ghosts, plus 25 experience points. Am I losing health? I died. And you can see them through the wall. How am I dying? Oh, there's a ghost right here. Rusty sword. I'm using a rusty sword. Oh! What is this? Oh! What is that? Is that green? All right. So many issues here. Many issues. We have our first imperfection. At the same time, this is like a crazy advanced. All right, so it has like an entire maze. Oh, the mini map. I didn't even notice the mini map. Oh yeah, the mini map's cool. Look at the mini map's real time. All right, so there's a lot of issues here. I mean, I think it's pretty clear there's a lot of issues here. There's no sword. They can shoot through walls. You can't see the sword. The controls are reversed. D goes left, A goes right. The power-ups don't do much. They're shooting me through walls. Can you imagine? Atari is back. Can you imagine, like, the people who were building Atari games, it just took years to do it? Like, now I can just build entire Atari games in, like, literally a minute. What were you expecting? Textures and characters? Well, let's work on it. Let's improve it a little bit. Let's improve it a little bit. I mean, for one shot, right? Like, we do these one-shot tests, but, like, they're not realistic, right? Like, people don't one-shot things. Like, people don't like, oh, I got to build an app, but I have to one-shot it, right? Like, people are able to do things with multiple tries. So the one-shot tests, they're interesting for measuring intelligence, but they're not like realistic tests, you know? So let's go back and let's like figure some things out here. Let's like massage it, see if we can get it any better, right? So, okay, a few issues. Controls are reversed. A goes right and D goes left. Same with moving the camera with the mouse. Enemies go through walls. And I can't see my sword swing. Let's see how good it could fix this. Is Opus 4.5 going to stay for Pro and Max users? As opposed to what? Get taken away for Pro and Max users? Yeah. It's a bit depressing how much time was spent doing small things. Yeah, now all those things are just fast. I've been using it for normal work and it's pretty good. Yeah, we got to do some creative tests. Let's do this. Let's do a creative test while Claude Code's working here. I want to know how good this can be for creative. Let's do a UI test. Let's do a UI test. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to build a landing page. So let's do this. We're going to build a landing page for, and we're going to compare it to a landing page we already built out to see how good it is. So while it's building out this game and improving this game for us, let's do Academy landing page, Claude Code Tracker Harness, Gemini App Builder, Extract Game Agent, Claude Code Harness. I have 40,000. Claude for Web, Codex, new Claude landing page, new skill. I think it's this one. Open. Yeah, let's do this. Oh, can I see the previous chat for this though? Let's see. Past conversations. Oh, here we go. Perfect. All right. I want to make sure I use the same prompts I used before. All right, I'm just pulling open a new Claude Code instance so we can build this out. We're going to build a landing page. Let's see. All right. Perfect. Here we go. So this is a landing page I made with Sonnet 4.5. Now I'll say this was done in several prompts. So it's not a apples to apples test where it's like one prompt versus one prompt, but we got pretty close. So this is for the Vibe Coding Academy. This was basically one shot with Sonnet 4.5. I think it's a pretty good looking landing page. Let's see how Opus 4.5 can do with the exact same prompt. So let's see how this does from a visual perspective. Does have visual taste when it comes to building websites. So I'm going to do a new folder. I'm going to call it Opus 4.5. New folder, Opus 4.5 landing. I'm going to open this up, open, and we're going to see how much taste this model has when building websites. All right, here we go. Opening Claude Code for desktop, which I love. I love the Claude Code for desktop. Here we go. All right. And I love that it's integrated. It's not like a separate, like I click code and then it opens up a new window. It's like integrated directly in chats code. I can go back between chatting and coding. I like that a lot. I like that little touch. All right. Trust this workspace. So we're going to build that landing page I just showed you, but we're going to do it with Opus 4.5. How good is the taste going to be? Greg PDX joining the FinFam. Thank you, Greg PDX. I appreciate you joining. Newest FinFam member. That means a lot. Thanks a lot, my man. I appreciate you. Also, I got 3 months of 5.1 Pro for $12. Shared or that's sick. That's a good price. Okay, here we go. Oh, see, this is great. Look at this, right? Instant recognition of the skills it needs. So it's been 100% on pulling in the correct Claude skills, which is a significant upgrade over the old version. That's great. I love that. So this is going to be a good test. We should add this to our benchmarks. Let me add this to our benchmarks. This is a good benchmark. So let's also add on landing page test. This is a good benchmark to see how good the landing pages are it can come up with. This is going to be interesting. So we gave it full information around everything we want on the landing page, basically all the text, and we give it a little creative freedom to come up with the landing page, the way it feels, the looks, the animations. I'm absolutely hammering 5.1 Pro at the moment. 35. What prompt did you give where it's taken 35 minutes to get a response? CityWare 7946. What the hell makes Claude so damn expensive? Are they training it on golden GPUs? Well, here's what it comes down to. Adam KOK9237. I don't think there's anyone like, is there anyone who can deny that Claude is the best? Anthropic makes the best coding models, like, period. Like, period. Can anyone deny that? So they're clearly doing something special. They're clearly doing something that no one can figure out. Ever since Sonnet 3.5, which is over a year ago, Anthropic has made the best coding model. And I don't care what the benchmarks say. Every time a new model comes out, they go, oh, we beat all the benchmarks. We beat all the benchmarks. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the benchmarks say. Claude has been the best coding model for over a year now, since Sonnet 3.5. Since Sonnet 3.5, it's been the best. And I don't care what anyone else says. So they're clearly doing something special. To hold the lead in one very specific category for over a year, they're doing something that no one else can figure out. ChatGPT hasn't been able to match it. Grok definitely hasn't been able to match it. Gemini 3 can't match it. So I think that's what, I mean, they're doing something special that makes it more expensive. But the good news is Opus 4.5 is cheaper. It's a third the price of the old Opus. And I don't think there's any denying that it's smarter than the old Opus based on the tests we've seen so far. This is going to be an interesting test. So a lot of interesting things going on here. Grok is a joke. I don't think Grok is a joke. I just think clearly they have to figure out what is Grok's identity, right? I feel like Anthropic, Claude has an identity, which is like master of code. I feel like GPT has an identity, which is like kind of your partner, bounce ideas, help you out. I feel like Gemini 3 has an identity. It's like your own personal scientist. What is Grok's identity? That's what they need to figure out. I think that's the missing piece for a lot of people, is like, what is that use case I get where, okay, I got to go to Grok? Because I think there's use cases people, oh, I got to go to GPT for this. I got to go to Claude for this. I got to go to the XAI team's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant team. Elon Musk, I think, is the most brilliant businessman in the history of mankind, the most brilliant entrepreneur ever, the history of humanity. But what is Grok's identity? What is that thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to Grok for that? I don't think that exists yet. And I think they need to figure that out if they want to like build something cool. All right. It looks like the landing page is done. Design workshop aesthetic, authentic coder vibes, a premium educational feel, dark charcoal base with electric cyan accents. I hate when they use neon. I hate when they use neon on these AIs. What did we call this? Claude landing page? Is that what we called it? What did we call this? Yeah, Opus 4.5 landing page. All right. Let's open this up. Let's see how its taste is. Let's see how its taste is. Okay, interesting. Let's see here. Let's pull this open. For professional, like, in Grok's identity can't be like, oh, I'm horny, I'm going to Grok. Like, that can't be the identity. You can't win the AGI war if it's like, okay, I need to talk to an anime girl in lingerie. Let me go to Grok. Like, that can't be the identity. You can't win with that identity. If that's Grok identity, they can't win. If it's just like, oh, I need to talk to an anime girl in lingerie so I can unlock more panty sets. Let's refresh this. Ooh, I like the little animation up here next to the vibe code. Ship your first AI app in 28 days with Claude Code. A little too much text here. Let's scroll down. Ooh, nice. Slide in. Oh, wow. I like this. Why does it matter so much for you? Just don't use it. Well, you don't have to tell me twice. But I'm giving my opinion because this is my live stream, so I give my opinion. What if I did a live stream and gave no opinions? That'd be a horrible live stream. So that's why it matters so much, because I'm giving my opinion and you're on my live stream. I'm not watching your live stream, Pedro Paulo Amarin. You're watching my live stream. So I'm going to continue giving you my opinions. I like the animations here. Already using Claude Code. You'll learn, okay, I like that. That's nice. Let's go down. Really nice slide-ins. Credentials. Why listen to me about Claude Code and AI apps? I'm not teaching theory. I do like the colors. I'm usually not a fan of like the neon colors, but I think this actually works well because it's interesting. See, this is nice. This is good taste, right? It took the colors from an IDE, the yellow and the blue, and then it roped it into everything so that it comes back and ties into the IDE. That's really, really nice. Is it live on Windsurf? I'm not sure. I don't use Windsurf. I like the Windsurf team, but I don't use Windsurf. What is this actually is? AI app accelerator, 0 to shipped. Yeah, this is nice. Ooh, that is nice. The way the blue transitions to yellow, the way things slid in nicely. Gemini 3 is still better in front end. Well, that's a good. Oh, I like that. Let's test it right now. I'm opening up anti-gravity. You think Gemini 3 is better on front end? Let's find out right the F now. Gemini 3 landing page. Let's find out right the F now, huh? You think Gemini 3 is better on front end? Let's find out. We're going to finish reviewing this landing page, and we're going to pop open Gemini 3 and anti-gravity and find out right the F now if JMD 489 is correct. Well, it's not about your opinion. It's about the point when you say Grok sucks because people are using it. I don't know what that means, but you're wrong because it is about my opinion because this is my live stream, so I give my opinion. If you have a different opinion, then start a Pedro Paulo Amarin live stream, and then we'll listen to your opinions. But in the meantime, you're in the chat section flapping your gums. So my opinion is the one that counts. This is for you. Oh, that's nice. Slide in. What you'll walk away with, that is nice. I'm going to be honest. At first, I wasn't a huge fan of this, but I think I walked away. So here, let's compare it, right? This is the landing page Sonnet 4.5 came up with a little bit of tweaking. So it's not apples to apples, one shot to one shot. What do you guys lean? This is Sonnet 4.5. It doesn't have the same animations. Or here, let's refresh it so you can see the animations. Or Opus 4.5. I think I like the Opus 4.5, and that was one prompt, while this Sonnet one was a few prompts. This was a few prompts. Opus 4.5 on Droid and 2 MCP EXA and Ref for plan mode. Droid Jam 666. I'm just going to be honest. Like, you're just going to use 20 different tools to build anything? I'm just using Claude Code listen, everyone's got their own workflow. You do your own thing, Droid Jam. You do you, buddy. You do you. If you want to use 4 different MCPs, 3 different tools, 4 different models, you do you. Enjoy. For me, my mantra has always been simplicity over everything. And like, there's not a single thing I've done with Opus 4.5 and Claude Code where I'm like, oh, I need like 4 MCPs, 3 other tools, 10 plugins, 6 this, 8 that. Like, just use Opus 4.5 and Claude Code. Yeah, I do love this Claude Code desktop app. Okay, so let's see. Let me scroll down in the chat. What are we thinking? Are we thinking the Sonnet or the Opus one? Get your own YouTube channel. Yeah, get your own YouTube channel, Pedro Paulo Amarin. I really don't care if your opinion. If you don't care about my opinion, what the hell are you doing in my live stream? That's interesting. Imagine not caring about someone's opinion, but sitting there in their live stream yapping all day in the chat. The way you put here sounds like people working on Grok are stupid when it has a specific use case. I never called the Grok people stupid. In fact, I think they're brilliant. I'm going to their headquarters in 2 weeks. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I'm just saying I don't think Grok has an identity, and I don't think the identity should be anime waifus. And it seems like me saying that shouldn't be anime waifus got you a little upset, which tells me you got an anime waifu girlfriend, Pedro Paulo on Marim. So I didn't mean to offend your anime girlfriend, but listen, not everyone wants anime girlfriends. You might want anime girlfriends. I don't. Let's go to Gemini 3. So they said Gemini 3 is better than Opus 4.5 when it comes to front end. Let's find out. We're in anti-gravity. Let's build the exact same landing page. The exact same landing page in Gemini 3. Exact same landing page. Someone in the chat said Gemini 3 Pro High. All right, Gemini 3 Pro High. Send. This is a big test. Front end. Okay, so let me add that to my test list. Front end UI. First, Gemini 3. I like that. We're going to do that. Script, show a quick preview of all my tests. Show all the results. Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with having anime waifus. I just think it's tough if the identity of the model is anime waifus. You go, I'm not judging anyone. Go, level up your anime waifus and unlock the new panty sets to your heart's content. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You go ahead. What you do on your own time, you do on your own time. I just don't think that should be the identity of an AI model, in my opinion. Stop doing front-end tests. Back-end and database are even more important. For sure, the challenge is for a visual format like a live stream or YouTube video, sitting here and configuring databases is not quite as interesting. And I think a good amount of people would leave if I spend 45 minutes configuring a database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that off stream. I'm going to test it building databases, and then I will give you my full opinion of how it worked with databases in the full Claude Opus 4.5 review video I do, which will drop either later today or tomorrow. Subscription and notifications on for that. All 505 people in here, notifications on immediately. Most important thing you do. Also, leave a like. Leave a like down below so we can expand this party. Okay, so it's still working on this. It's still working. Listen, I don't like this interface as much as Claude Code. I don't like this interface as much as Claude Code. Like this just, I don't think this is as readable, right? Showing me step-by-step every file you're editing is just visual clutter, in my opinion. Like it's just visual clutter. The fact that you're listing every file you're editing. Like what's nice about Claude Code is it's just like, all right, I'm going to do these tasks. All right, done. Thumbs up, done. Alex, is it okay if I can show you a game on VR one day? It's called Orion Drift. 100%. I'm big into VR. I use Apple Vision Pro and I have a Meta Quest, and I'm going to buy the Steam frame when that drops next year. Is Claude in anti-gravity as good as Claude from Claude itself? For some reason, Claude in anti-gravity seems dumbed down. No, it's not nearly as good. Claude in Claude Code is significantly better than Claude in anti-gravity and Claude in Cursor. Significantly better. That is because Claude Code's the best coding harness in the world. And Anthropic knows the Claude model better than anyone else. I've reached quota limit. We've reached quota limit. I used anti-gravity all weekend. Now we're hitting the quota limit. I used anti-gravity all weekend. Now we're hitting the quota limit. It's still working. It's still doing stuff. So I don't know what it means by hitting the quota limit, but it's still working. Restart. This is a bug. Okay, so we're going to do this. Maybe we'll get this started in Google AI Studio. Let's get this started in Google AI Studio. Yeah. I mean, another reason why Claude Code's king, right? All right, Google AI Studio. We'll keep letting this cook. I don't know what it's doing. I think it's actually almost done. I finished. All right, it's done. Let's test it. Accept all. Open. All right, open doesn't do anything. Show in Finder. Let's see how this looks. It's definitely from a code perspective the most complicated. It didn't work. Didn't work. Gemini 3 and anti-gravity did not work. It could not build a landing page. All right, that's fine. So we'll go in here. Gemini 3 Pro build. This should be better. This should be better. No, just show me the app. I don't want to do any of these. Integrate a call to action button. Make it easy for interested visitors to visit the waiting list by adding a prominent call to action button. I already say have a call to action button. Tailor generation design, save custom instructions. All right, let's see how it does here. F anti-gravity AI Studio. AI Studio is the GOAT. I do think it is the GOAT of like prototyping tools. Like if it was like this versus Lovable, I think this is the GOAT. I think anti-gravity has a long way to go to be considered good for now. Here's what I like about anti-gravity, and this pissed a lot of people off in my review of anti-gravity, is I think from a UI perspective, it's excellent. I love the idea of an agent manager. I wish Claude Code had this kind of advanced AI manager like anti-gravity has. I think it's great. Is it broken and buggy? Yes, it is. It is. It is broken and buggy. But the direction it's going is spectacular. They're going to fix the bugs. They're not just going to leave bugs in for the next year. They're going to fix the bugs. So what we're going to be left with, and in my opinion, is going to be an awesome AI agent manager, which I think is going to be sick. So what we're doing is we're testing Gemini 3 for UI front end, for a landing page. We tested this for Claude Opus 4.5. I actually think this is really nice. I would want to make some edits here. I think a little too much text here. There's a little too text heavy for above the fold for a landing page. But I think stylistically elsewhere, it is really nice. I like the colors because they take it straight from an IDE, which is very creative, right? And they take the colors from the IDE and put in here. I think it's a very creative touch. I think Opus 4.5 is excellent for front end, but people are saying, hey, all right, here we go. Okay, here we go. So it looks like it shows a similar color scheme. So applications open for next cohort. Who's this for? Curriculum 5 Code Academy. I hate the gradients. I hate the gradients. Did we have any gradients here? No gradients here. The gradients yell AI. These gradients are terrible. That's fine. Let's see. Okay, so they have the animations as well. New to Claude Code. That's nice. I like this section. It built this nice visual here. Maybe a little too text heavy. What this actually is, flagship support system. That's nice. High level curriculum. I like how it goes off in different directions like this. That might be a little bit nicer than Opus 4.5, like this section. Right, this is weird use of white space here. This uses the white space nicely. It's probably better use of white space in the Gemini version than in the Opus version. Right, it's a little weird here with the white space. You have a lot of white space here, a lot of white space here. Gemini, it feels like I might lean Gemini 3 a little bit, to be honest. I don't think either is like spectacular. But then you compare that to the one I have live now after I made a few edits. What do you guys prefer? Which of these do you prefer? Google wins. Do you want to know how to use it? What, Gemini 3? What are you talking about? I put in a prompt for a landing page I want to build. I used AI Studio when Gemini 3 Pro came out and just, wow, enabled me to create some things I didn't think possible. Yeah, Gemini 3 is spectacular. And AI Studio is spectacular. But I go back and forth. You love the gradients. I hate the gradients. Can you explain Claude Code versus Claude Chat when coding? Yeah, 100%. Let me do that. Let me take a sip of water. My throat's on fire from talking and yelling nonstop for 2 hours now. So this is something I think I'm a big fan of when it comes to this new Claude experience, which is the Claude desktop app. So this new Claude Code desktop app is fully integrated with the chat. So if anyone who knows my workflow when it comes to coding, you know that there's 2 parts to my workflow. And everyone should be doing this too, so write this down. When doing any sort of coding, you should have your AI agent that does the work. Kind of like, I would say this is a senior developer, to be quite honest with you. I always say junior developer. I think Opus 4.5, we're officially in senior developer territory. That's how good I think this is. I think we can officially say this is senior developer territory. But you still always want a co-pilot CEO, I call it. I call it a co-pilot. Gemini better, not going to lie. I can see how you can say the Gemini UI is better for that landing page we just built. It's not trash. Gemini 3 is better. Gemini 3, Gemini is better. Gemini, Claude, Gemini 3, Gemini 3, in my opinion. Opus 4.5 is clean. I like Opus. I can see how you like the Gemini 3 landing page better than the Opus one. I can see that. But if you talk about all the other things we've built on this stream today, the games, the 3D simulators, the animations, Opus 4.5, I don't think anyone here can argue that Opus 4.5 dominated. Like, dominated. Alex, I just told Opus to make a full Discord clone, and it did it. Like, really, really good. That doesn't surprise me. I've used Sonnet 4.5 a lot. They are very proud of themselves. Way overpriced. But do you think Opus 4.5 is overpriced? Claude better. Gemini has so many tools. Gemini 3 writes better code. Opus writes better code, though. So the workflow you want to do when using Claude Code, which I think might be even easier now with this desktop app, is you have your senior developer writing code. Then you have your co-pilot CEO helping direct the show. So before I go to my developer to build something out like this landing page, I'd probably take this, give it to my co-pilot CEO, which now we can do as easy as a click here, right? Now we're in the chat. I can start a new chat, say, hey, you're my co-pilot CEO for this landing page I'm building. Hit send, get some advice, switch back to the Claude Code in here. Go in there, say, hey, I just talked to my CEO. We want to do this. Hit send, starts building it out. Go back to my CEO, say, hey, this is where we're at. We're building this feature out. Do you have any other ideas what we can do? Oh, yeah, you should be doing this. Then go back to the chat, the Claude Code, right? Give the new things we just figured out. This might be the best workflow for that because typically you've had multiple windows open, whether it's Claude Code in Visual Studio Code plus GPT 5.1. Or, or Codex and 5.1 in a different window. Now with this new Claude desktop app, you have Claude Code in chat right there like that. You can switch back and forth like that. Amaya, what are you doing in your IDE where like you need your IDE over this? I don't think I see any reason to use the IDE anymore after trying this out, Claude Code for desktop. That's a tough sell. I think Gemini 3 and Opus 4.5 probably write comparable code. Not based on what I've seen. Based on our benchmark so far, Claude Opus 4.5 is significantly better than any other model we've ever tested. Am I still planning to use 5.1 for play? So let's do this. Let's test it. Let's test this out. Let's test what my use case actually I use the most for AI is, which is creative thinking. So I'm going to take one of my old prompts I used in 5.1 thinking to plan out the vibe coded app store. And we're going to put it into Opus 4.1 to see how good it is from a planning perspective. Let me pull this old prompt up. And we're going to put it in Opus 4.5. So this is my most important use case when it comes to AI. I use AI a ton, and all you guys should be doing this as well, which is a lot of creative thinking when it comes to using the AI, which is like, I'm working on this idea. What other features should I do? What should my marketing plan be? How do I get users? How do I increase engagement? How do I increase retention? And for this specific use case, I like 5.1 thinking over all of them. Gemini, all of them. So let's see if this can beat thinking 5.1. So we're going to go back into Claude. We're going to use the desktop app for the chat. I think that could be fun. Let's test out the desktop app. So we're going to plan out our vibe code app store, right? So we're working on an app store for vibe coded apps, solo built vibe coded apps. We also want to kind of make it like a social network where people can discuss the apps and ask questions and things like that. Let's paste in this prompt. This is basically a very long prompt that says, hey, I'm building an app right now. Let's brainstorm ideas. Let's increase engagement and let's increase retention. It's a vibe app store where community driven, you can showcase your vibe coded apps that you built by yourself. It's like a product hunt for solo coded apps. I'm going to send it to Opus 4.5. We're going to compare the answer we get here. Let's also pay attention to the speed as well. Looks like by default, extended thinking is on. I don't think I had this on before, and it has given me an answer already. Typically with Claude, when you had extended thinking on before, it took a lot longer than this. I think I'm prepared to say Opus is faster than Sonnet. Is that crazy for the people who've been watching this entire stream the last 2 hours? Is that a crazy thing to say, that I think it's safe to say Opus is faster than Sonnet now? I can't use Opus 4.5 with Pro subscription and Claude Code. I wouldn't be surprised if you can't. I would not be surprised if you can't use Opus 4.5 with the $20 subscription. And I'm not going to tell people what they should or shouldn't spend their money on, but I think you should spend your money on Opus 4.5. All right, let's see how good this creative thinking is. Like, here's the issue with AI when you do creative thinking. The ideas it gives you just feel like slop. Like, it doesn't give you novel, interesting ideas people would like actually want to use. It's usually just slop. So for this vibe coding social network app store, will the ideas it give be actually interesting ideas for our app? And let's also think about the vibes too. Like, let's see how this works with vibes. This is our first time kind of chatting with the model. This is a great concept. The vibe coded niche is underserved, and you've already got solid foundational features. Here are some ideas organized by the type of engagement they drive. Okay, so not a lot of like warm up, like wind up pitch, like a ton of text to give the idea. It goes straight into it. Interesting. I think I like that. Build in public and transparency features. Show your prompt sections. Let builders opt you share the key prompts or Claude Code commands that built the features. This is unique. I like that. Build timeline, a visual timeline showing the app's evolution. Day 1, initial scaffold. Day 3, auth. I don't know. Cost tracker. Lets builders display what it costs to build. API credits, hosting domains. Solo builders love comparing efficiency. Not bad. Retention mechanics. Streaks for builders. Ship a changelog update. Answer Q&A or post a discussion within days to maintain a streak. I like that. Watch this app. Beyond the following builders, let users watch specific apps for updates. Changelog posts, new features. I like that. Weekly digest challenges. This week, build something with voice input or ship landing page. That's pretty cool. Social and competitive features. Builder battles. 2 builders, same prompt concept, 48 hours. Community votes on the result. Create drama, content, and viral moments. Could be opt-in matchmaking. Pretty good idea. Remix ideas. If a builder open sources or shares their approach, others can submit remixes forks. This is pretty good. Discovery and curation. Apps that almost worked. A section for failed experiments. No, that's kind of an AI slop idea. Like, no one's going to want to see failed apps. I don't know. Stack badges. Auto detect or let builders tag their stack. Yep. Solve my problem feed. Monetization hooks. Tip jar integration. Hire this builder. I like it, and it's interesting for being like their like top thinking model. It doesn't blabber on. So like, let's look at ChatGPT. Let's look at ChatGPT's response to that one. I'm going to pull up ChatGPT. All right. So compare this response, tight, kind of straight to the point, no fluff. Like, what's the fluff? 1 sentence beginning, 1 sentence end. Now let's compare this to ChatGPT. 5.1 thinking, which in my opinion was the top business planning creative model up until this point. So we have the same prompt, big wind up, right? Sentence, you need reasons to come back every day as a builder, as a user, as you. Let's design features around this loop, not random fluff. It goes into the ideas, gives a ton of detail, a lot of bullet points, a lot of bullet points, a lot of bullet points, bullet points, bullet points, bullet points. We're like, it gives me 16 ideas, 17 ideas, 18 ideas, 19 ideas. And then it gives you another kind of bullet pointed list to wrap it up. Claude, it was like so concise. The ideas in just like one sentence each. No bullet points, no formatting. The question is, what do you prefer? What do you prefer? It should be aligns with cost reduction. Interesting. So do you think this wasn't a play to just give concise answers? It was a play to actually reduce costs? But I mean, it's very clear, like in our coding tests, it wrote more code per prompt, right? So chatting, it seems like it's much tighter chat, but coding, it wrote more code, but it was good code though. It was good code. Ask it to make Flappy Bird. That's the most boring test. Flappy Bird. Who cares about Flappy Bird? I never liked Flappy Bird. I was never bought into the Flappy Bird hype. Right now, Opus is not in the extension in VS Code, but on Windows. You can see it using the CLI. You just have to enter in the model. It is so much better than Sonnet 4.5. Yeah, it is. I'll also probably be close to hitting 5-hour coding session limit based on the last 2 hours of pushing it hard. But previous Opus would have already ate almost my weekly usage. Must last my 5. Yeah, it's more efficient, and I don't think it's even up for debate. It is much smarter and writes better code. Got to add your 5.1 personality though, Alex. That's true. I have a personality, a custom personality in GPT 5.1, but not in Claude. If you have a max plan, there's no point in going back to Sonnet. It's not even overshooting like it did before. Yeah, I don't. Can anyone think of one reason to use Sonnet anymore? What's the point of using Sonnet anymore? Opus is the same limits, and it's significantly smarter, and it's faster. Here's an interesting tweet. Let's see what people are tweeting about Opus 4.1. What are the reactions? Opus 4.5 outperformed every single human candidate ever in Anthropic's notoriously difficult take-home exam for prospective performance engine. So Opus 4.5 outperformed every engineer that applied to work at Anthropic. That's insane. That's insane. I got to include that in my video. That's crazy. Opus 4.5 outperformed every engineer that applied at Anthropic. This feels like a precipice has been passed. Does anyone else feel that way? This feels like a major milestone. Like I feel like from a coding perspective, from an engineering perspective, like this is like engineering AGI. Is that crazy for me to say? Is that like a hype boy thing for me to say? Right? Because I think AGI has always been measured on like the AI is better than human beings. This is the first time I really feel like the tool I'm using is better than human beings. Like I'm not calling it AGI. I'm calling it coding AGI. I call it AGI in one category. It's software engineering AGI. Maybe. Is that too far? Am I taking it too far? I don't think it's overall AGI. Am I just a victim of the moment? But like with Sonnet 4.5, I felt like it was a really good engineer that saved me a ton of time. But it felt like I just kind of had an intern that was working for me and saving me time. But all the I like maybe I do have to slow down because we haven't built like everything we've tested and benchmarked so far in these last couple hours have all been kind of one shot. They've been very complex one shot tasks, but they've been one shot tasks, right? And it blew it out of the water, blew it out of the park. What I need to do to test this, to really take this to the next level, is this software engineering AGI, is use this to build really complex apps, which I will be doing the moment the stream ends and tomorrow when I'm on a 5.5 hour flight. I will be using Claude Code to build very complex full stack apps beginning to end. You can now use Opus 4.5 in Claude Code in your Max account. So Max accounts only. You will not get it in your $20 a month plan. You will not get it in your Pro plan. Max accounts only. Anthropic lowered the price of Opus 4.5. They might have actually cooked here. They did cook here. 4.5 got legs, bro. It just needs to keep going. But it's good going, not bad going so far. Well, it's definitely not bad going. That's an understatement of the year. I might skip Thanksgiving dinner. I might not talk to my family for the next week. Sue me. What are you building first? I am currently working on a couple of things. I'm working on advanced functionality for Creator Buddy, which is my AI content app. Link somewhere on the internet. CreatorBuddy.io. I'm also building. I've fallen in love with a video game called Arc Raiders, which is called an extraction shooter. And so I'm building my own version of an extraction shooter with Claude Sonnet right now. It's going really well, but I feel like I have to rebuild the whole thing with Opus. So that's going to be a really complex, full stack, in-depth app I'm building with Opus 4.5. So those are the two things I'm going to build out. I've been building out another AI app the last couple of weeks for the Vibe Coding Academy. So Friday, I'm launching a Claude Code Masterclass on Friday, Black Friday. Link down below. It's part of the Vibe Coding Academy, which is a community. Weekly calls with me. You can ask me questions. I'll answer all your questions. And you get a Claude Code Masterclass with it. The waitlist is in the link down below. Vibecodingacademy.dev. Waitlist link down below. Sign up for the waitlist. That drops this Friday. This Friday. It's dropping. Full community. You can ask me questions. Full Claude Code Masterclass. Security of your app is very important. There's a full security part to the Claude Code Masterclass. But yes, security is very important. Yeah, I've been seeing clips of Arc. It's amazing. So in the end, 5.1 planning or Opus 4.5? I got to do more tests to determine if I would say Opus 4.5 is the better creative planner. I have to do more tests there. I got to use it side by side for a while. I'm not ready to declare a full winner on that front, but let's do this. Let's update our use case chart. Let's update our use case chart. You guys ready to update the use case chart? Here we go. Use cases for every model. Coding. Opus 4.5, easily. Best coding model ever. I can tell you 4.5 is now better at front-end planning only than 5.1. However, its execution is not as good as I expected, but still better than others. It's the best. I'm curious where you were disappointed with the execution. I think I'm fully switching to Opus. I think I might be. I think I'm going to test drive fully using Opus 4.5 for everything. Answers to questions, Gemini 3. Current events, Gemini 3. Creative writing. I got to do more tests here. I'm not prepared to switch it from 5.1 thinking to Opus yet. Video generation VO, image generation Nano Banana Pro. I don't think there's any argument there. Is anyone going to argue on the image generation? Nano Banana Pro is like AGI for image generation. Also curious, do you ever hit your weekly limits on the $200 max plan? I do not. I never hit my limits. Ego boosting and affirmation 4.0, music generation 11 labs, most unfiltered Grok, social sentiment Grok, free GPT-5 instant, hyper premium. I mean, it's GPT, but what are the other hyper premium models? Are there other hyper premium models? I think 5.1 is the only hyper premium model, right? So it's only competition with itself. Best local, Kimmy K2 thinking, deep research, Gemini 3. I think I'm fine with this. But at the same time, everyone's got different use cases they use this for. Thanks for the live stream update. Yeah. Player, I think it's worth updating to max. You need to use Opus. I think listen. There are times in this world where new technology that comes out pushes the entire game forward, elevates the entire game, right? And you all of a sudden become capable of things you were never capable of before, powers you were never capable of having before. And individuals can accomplish things they've never been able to accomplish in history. And the people that jump on those opportunities early are able to capitalize because you're going to be able to do things most people can't do because you're jumping on it early. And I think these are one of those times. I think today, November 24th, is one of those times where you just got to jump on it early. And if you have the means, everyone's in different financial situations. If you have the means, I think you just need to invest the $100 to use Opus 4.5 to see what you're truly capable of. I'm not sponsored by Anthropic. I have no relation to Anthropic. I've reached out to Anthropic before. They ignore everything I reach. They don't give a F about me. They do not care about me. The last thing Anthropic cares about is Alex Finn. So me endorsing them here and saying you should try it. Trust me, I hate my enemies. And I'm not saying Anthropic's my enemy. But if someone ignores me, I usually am like, oh, F them. This is amazing. They probably think you're Sam Altman. Everyone says that. People either say, hey, you look like Sam Altman, or hey, you sound like Donald Trump. I don't agree with either of those. Do I look like Sam Altman and sound like Donald Trump? I don't agree with any of that. Basically, point being, though, is like there's just times where like new tech comes out that pushes everything forward. And if you get in on those opportunities early, you can accomplish incredible things. I think these are one of those times. Opus 4.5. I don't think 5.1 was one of those times. I think 5.1 was the best model ever at the time, but is it like that push everything forward? I don't know. Gemini 3, maybe. If you're like a scientist, maybe. Yes, with a bit of Marilyn Manson? What about me reminds you of Marilyn Manson, villain Iber? Because I'm pale? Is that why? You sound like Donald Trump? The greatest vibe coding streamer. Shout out Twitch community. Frozen Fusion, captain of the Twitch community. I don't advertise, I stream on Twitch. So when people show up on the Twitch stream, I get very happy and excited. Shout out Frozen Fusion. I think these are just one of those times you need to jump on it and like get ahead of everyone else and try it out. Today is one of those days. You just got to do it. I think Opus 4.5 is that opportunity. If you have the $100 to spare, I think you have to try out Opus 4.5 and try to build something great. I do. You've lost too much of your New Jersey accent to sound like Trump. For those who don't know, I born and raised in New Jersey, New York area. Born in New York, raised in New Jersey. What? This is great. I was going to use the meta of using during my coding to see if it helps, but this is so much better. I don't know what this message means, but I think I'm happy for you. I think I should be happy about this reply, or should I be like, oh no, don't do it? I think we should be happy for LG9537 for this reply. I think what this means is he's not using drugs because of Opus 4.5. I think. I hope. I hope I'm not rooting on some guy using drugs. I'm going all Opus 4.5. I'm going all Opus 4.5. Stream Wednesday. No stream Wednesday. No stream Friday. We're off Wednesday and Friday this week. I'm traveling to Southern Florida to visit some family. No stream Wednesday, no stream Friday, but we're back the following Monday. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to turn on notifications. Very important. Make sure to leave a like. What I'm going to do from here is, it is 1:22 p.m. I am going to order lunch and eat it because I'm hungry. And then I'm going to make a master Opus 4.5 guide video. We're going to try to post that today. What are the practical limits of the $100 plan? I don't know. They never tell you the limits. They never tell you the limits. You just got to hope for the best. But it's worth starting off with the $100 plan. I'm going to release the Claude Opus 4.5 master plan guide, 10 to 15 minute guide later today. Make sure subscriptions or notifications are on for that. Here's my challenge to you. When I drop that later today and you get the notification on your phone, the moment you get it, open it up and watch it to the end and leave a like. That's the best way to support the channel. Better than donating money to me. The best way to support the channel is the moment I drop a video, open it up, watch it to the end and leave a like. That's all I ask. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed. Did you enjoy it? Did you have fun? Did you learn something? I try to make it so you learn something, you laugh, you cry on every single stream. This was by far our biggest stream ever. We hit over 500 concurrent on this stream. That's huge. That's huge. 500. I think our previous high was 130. We hit over 500. So that's pretty amazing. Shout out all you. Learned Allet. That's good. Going to scoop up Max now. Thanks, Alex. Let me know what you think. Everyone reach out on X. DM me on X if you want with what you think. If you have feedback for the stream, if you have things you want to improve on the stream, things you hate, things you love, let me know. DM me on X. Videos dropping this week. I have this week a 9 months of Claude Code lessons in 10-minute video. It's going to be a little outdated because it doesn't include anything about Opus, but I don't know. I hope people enjoy it anyway. Opus 4.5 video today. Sponsored video with Flowwith this week. A lot of other cool videos coming too. Do you recommend to build right in the Claude Code desktop app, the Claude Code CLI or Cursor 2.0? Is Opus 4.5 equally powerful across all for building complex software? if you want to get the most out of an Anthropic model, you need to be using an Anthropic coding harness, which means you don't want to use it in Cursor or anti-gravity. If you want to get the most out of an Anthropic model, you need to be using it in either the Claude Code CLI or the Claude Code desktop app, because all the desktop app is a wrapper for the CLI. It's just the CLI with a nice interface. Alex, if you want, when would you like me to show you Orion Drift in VR? Feel free to DM me on X and we can talk about it. Great job again, says Timothy Hennessy. Appreciate you, Timothy Hennessy. That was an awesome stream. Thank you all. Subscribe, leave a like, turn on notifications. Vibe Code Academy, link down below for the Vibe Coding Academy. Sign up for the waitlist for that. It's going to be awesome. Comes out this Friday, Black Friday. It's going to be fun. We get to hang out in it, ask questions, all that. I hope everyone has an amazing Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday of the year, Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. If you're American, enjoy it. If you're not American, eat some turkey on Thursday anyway. You'll have a lot of fun. Watch some football, make some turkey, sit on the couch, fall asleep in front of football, enjoy it. It's just one of those feel-good holidays. It's just one of those feel-good holidays. Next time, I'd like to hear your thoughts on not knowing what the models are doing behind the scenes on the web. I'm not sure what you mean by that, to be honest, but feel free to DM me. Enjoy your holidays. Spend time with your family. Live, laugh, love. Eat delicious food. Try to get a couple push-ups in. Maybe go for a little run, 10-minute run. I'm a Giants fan, so sad year. Well, I'm a Patriots fan, so great year. And we're going to whip your behinds on Monday Night Football. Lunch on me, my fellow Deftones brother from another mother. Let's cook. Thank you, my man. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm about to order a chicken parm with that $25. Thank you, my man. That means a lot. I'm going to order chicken parm and listen to Deftones because of you. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. My dad is from Boston. My dad was born and raised in Boston, so he raised me a Boston fan. We watched all the games together. Then I lived in Boston for 9 years. Went to college in Boston. Went to the Super Bowl in Minnesota to watch the Patriots lose to the Eagles. So, whatever. I appreciate that, my man. Thank you. I hope you have an excellent weekend, dude. Excellent holiday. #1 vibe coding streamer. Shout out the Twitch community for watching the live stream. Shout out Twitch. I never advertise Twitch, but Frozen Fusion always comes through and watches on the Twitch stream. I appreciate it. He's the captain of Twitch. All right, guys. Love you all. We'll be back Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific. Have a spectacular weekend. Tons of it. I'm saying bye now, but videos coming today, tomorrow, rest of the week. All the love to the Fin fam. Love you all. Great holidays. And I will see you video later today.